How's it going, everybody? Big hello to all the listeners that are tuned in to Global Metal Machine episode 116 on Harvey Community Radio 96.5 FM. It's your town talking. Yes, I have some very special guests in the studio as we speak. These boys are a dark, industrial-influenced metal band from Perth, and they come down and stayed the weekend in the southwest here. They stayed at Bunbury, I believe, because they played at the Global Metal Machine Stop the Violence Mini Fest 2nd edition on Friday night. So first of all, I'm going to introduce the boys from All This Filth. So Brendan, thanks for coming to the studio, mate.
How you doing, Kelvin? Thanks for having us. Cheers for having us on the bill. It was good fun, good night, good to get back in Bunbury. Been 5 years since ATF played in Bunbury. It was good fun, but yeah, really appreciate you taking the time to have us in and have us on the bill. It's great.
Fantastic, mate. And do you want to introduce your bandmates? I believe you're flanking guitarists.
Yeah, I got the two guitarists here. I got Phoenix and Mark Honey.
Hey, what's up?
What's kicking?
Fantastic. Cheers for coming in, boys.
Yeah, no, cheers for having us down here. Fuck yeah.
No worries at all. And it is after 9 o'clock, so if we do drop an F-bomb here and there, that is fine.
Yeah, I was hell worried about that sign, because I'm like, man, seriously, I'm sitting there going, man, fuck, because like every second, I can't help myself.
Yeah, but we'll try not to make it every second word.
What can't we say?
There's a lot that we can't.
Let's not go there.
The C word we will leave out of this interview. So.
Charles, gotcha.
I'm not a fan of Charles anyway.
Charles,
he's a real dick.
Okay, so thanks for joining us here in the Global Metal Machine spaceship. I'm going to start off by asking each of you to, before we start talking about All This Filth's music, to introduce yourselves and tell us a bit about yourself, starting with you, Brendan.
Hey, I'm Brendan, and I'm the vocalist and founding member of All This Filth. I've been doing this almost 10 years now in All This Filth. Started back in like 07, so late 07, early 08 sort of thing. So 08 as we say. But I do vocals and like some sampling and stuff, and I'm just sort of, I guess by default, the leader. So yeah, that's what I do. Take care of the business as well. So
Phoenix, I've been in the metal scene for quite a while now. I used to play with In a Moment, which was a progressive metal band. I went on to play with Matty Trash and the Horribles, which was a bit of a metal zombie-esque kind of shit. And then ran into these boys, All This Filth, who we actually played together. Yeah. Matty Trash and All This Filth. We go back, got a bit of history in that. Yeah,
I've known Phoenix for years. Like, I saw him playing In a Moment, and Matty Trash and All This Filth. We played a bunch of gigs back in the day together. Like still got the posters and stuff.
Good stuff. And Mark?
Yeah, well, Mark, new to Perth, also new to All This Filth. Kalgoorlie boy originally, and I accidentally joined this band last year sometime through my mate Ricky, who was also joining the band. New to the scene as well, and I'm loving it. Also, shout out to my mate Matty G and Matty G with 1T for letting me stay at their house in Cape all weekend.
Fantastic. Big shout out to you, Matty G.
And Matty G with 1T. There's two Matty Gs that live in one house together.
Okay.
They almost named their cat Matty G.
Really?
It didn't go ahead.
It makes things difficult, doesn't it, Mark?
Well, either that or really simple, because you call that Matty G, someone's going to reply.
When one person is sick of you talking, like, at least there's still enough one there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, okay, thanks, guys. Now we're going to talk a little bit about All This Filth and the music that you guys make. How would you guys describe your music to people that might be hearing it for the first time or may not have heard your music before?
Okay, me personally, like, when I started All This Filth, I wanted to mix like that sort of groove metal stuff that like Sepultura did with the early thrash stuff that they were doing as well, with like, say, industrial metal bands like Fear Factory and a bit of Chimera. Like, so it's like groove metal with an industrial tinge is the best way I describe it. And if you said like three bands, I'd say like Sepultura, Max Era Sepultura, Fear Factory, and Chimera would be the three bands I would say were sort of similar. Well, we don't really sound like those three bands, but like that's ballpark. So, yeah. But that's how I describe it. I don't know. What do you guys reckon?
It's very tough metal. Like, it's strong. Because we came in learning the previous songs that the previous lineup had learnt. Which was very sort of thrashy, fast sort of stuff. And then we come in, we do the same stuff. We play that sort of music. We started developing a bit more sort of like a heavy, just like...
Yeah. It's dark. It's still got the groove. It's still dark. We're trying to bring it a bit more of an industrial tinge to it. But it's dark. It's like not like sort of 80s thrash. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's that more like Sepultura death thrash mixed with like some groove and whatever else we want to chuck in, you know. It
is very dark and very groovy, so I don't think you could have described it any better. And what were you going to say, Mark?
Oh, this new lineup, every musician in this lineup is like from almost a different background in music. Like I barely listen to metal at all these days, hey, like, because like John Farnham's Greatest Hits is a pretty cool CD.
It's a ripper.
Oh man, like, I just wish you'd do one more tour.
So are we going to hear maybe in all this Filth John Farnham metal cover down the track?
Sadly, I tried to contact John and he's not a fan.
Management's not into it.
Yeah. Also, he hasn't heard of us.
Yeah, well, it's a good way of describing your music. It was the first time I got to see you guys live on Friday night. And, yeah, you guys have a real dark charisma on stage. You got this sort of apocalyptic warrior thing going on. Does it feel like that in your music?
Yeah, I mean, a bit, like, I don't know. I just write about stuff that, like, is going through my head at the time, so... Like, back in the day, you know, it's sort of more generalized and global sort of stuff, like, you know, Program to Suffer and stuff like that, Everyday Slavery, all those sorts of songs. But the latest stuff we've been writing, the first song we wrote with the new lineup we played on Friday night, it's been received pretty well, called Drowning, which will be on the next release. And that's really dark. It's a bit more of a personal sort of song, but people are relating to that and enjoying that live. So it's cool. It's got a bit of melody as well. Like, you know, it's a bit of a journey, that song. But
I think like it's very dark, but it's fun. It's like the energetic sort of stuff that we're doing.
Energy, yeah. We're aggressive. That's another way to describe it. We're aggressive and we're dark and aggressive. Like the new song's got a bit more like I don't know, there's parts of it that are reminiscent of Crowbar or Skin Lab. It's that depressing groove sort of thing going on, and then it just kicks into like straight up ATF style, and yeah, it's cool. It's something slightly different, but I mean, you got to progress as a band. You can't just do the same stuff all the time. I mean, you can, but that's not what we're going to do.
That's exactly right. And
yeah.
Like I said, thanks for joining me in the Global Metal Machine Spaceship. We're going to play some of your music throughout the interview. Which song did you guys want to start on?
Oh, well, if you're going to play the EP, let's start at the beginning with Helter Skelter, I guess.
No worries. And did you want to tell us a little bit about what this song may be about?
Okay, yeah. So there's a sample at the start, and I want to clarify this for anyone who's listening out there. The sample that we used at the start of the EP and at the start of Helter Skelter, which sort of blends into it, is taken from a movie called Helter Skelter about Charles Manson. Now, we're not a bunch of crazy racists, and I don't condone any of that sort of stuff, but Charles Manson does. So he was talking, like, the song is about his theory of Helter Skelter, and if you permit me, I'll tell you a bit about it. It's like,
cool.
His theory was that he could use music to start the war, to end all wars, that would sort of bring about the apocalypse, and then he would rise, being the only white man left on the planet, because he was going to start a race war. Like, he thought that his music could steal white women away from black men, and his theory was that black men, the only reason they haven't risen up against white women was because, against white men, was because they had white women. So he thought, we'll take them away, I'll use my siren songs to take all the women away, and we'll hide in this bottomless pit in the bottom of the desert. And then the war will go down, and then at the end of it, we'll come up, and we'll be like, I'll be the only white guy, and the black people will be like, well, we'll have to listen to this guy because we don't know what we're doing, which is crazy. We do not condone that, but I was interested in it. It was the first song I ever wrote about somebody else sort of thing, and I was interested in it from the point of view that he was going to use music to start the war, to end all wars, to bring about the apocalypse. That's what interested me. So I wrote a song about it, basically because I saw the movie and I was like, that's really cool.
That's incredible. Cheers for opening up about what the song was about.
Yeah, I mean,
that's cool.
Again, I do not condone Charles Manson or any of his views or any racism. We're not down with that. That is absolute, bullshit, basically.
We don't condone serial killers. We condone eating cereal in the mornings.
Yeah, exactly.
So now that we've spoken a bit about that, did you want to put the sample in with the song?
Oh, if you want to start it from the very start, yeah, this first one's called Theory of a Madman, and then it goes straight into Helter Skelter, so enjoy.
More with all this filth straight after this.
Helter Skelter, stay with me now. Helter Skelter begins with a black man going into white people's homes, rip them off, kill them off, and Blackie will wipe out Whitey. Cut up piggy bodies, take that piggy blood, put it all over all the piggy walls. Now I got an idea. This might make the white man a little unhappy. There will be revolution. There will be revelation. Blackie will rise. Oh, and bye-bye Whitey. Then Blackie will be on top. In the meantime, you and me, we will be hiding. all the wiser in the desert, the bottomless pit. Oh, but what did I tell you about Blackie having himself a little problem? See, Blackie's gonna find out. Oh, no!
This is Helter Skelter by All This
He
Filth.
can only do what the white man taught him how to do. He can only do what the white man would let him. And I'll scratch Blackie's little head like that.
I can see it going down. We're on the way out. I can see it going down. We're slowly dying out. I can see it going down. We're slowly dying out. I can see it going down. We're slowly dying out. I can see it going down. We're slowly dying out. I can see it going down. We're slowly dying out. We're on the way out. We're all dying out. My fuse, start a war that ends it all. Talk your eyes, light will fall in the war. In the dust, we will lie to rise. Rule the world with the mind, lead the right.
Oh yes, that was Helter Skelter off the All This Filth Program to Suffer EP, fresh with the Charles Manson samples. I don't condone Charlie, but being a big Marilyn Manson, I love that shiznit.
Again, we're not racist, just throwing it out there.
Racist or serial killers.
Yeah, or serial killers.
That stuff's rough tucker.
Yeah, rough tucker.
There's a fine line between musicians though, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, we're a bit crazy, but we're crazy about the music, you know.
That's it. Well, I'm going to get you guys to talk. There's three of you that are great enough to join me on your way back to Perth in the Global Metal Machine spaceship. I'm going to get you guys to talk a little bit about the rest of the clan, the rest of the ATF members. Who wants to start?
I think Mark should start talking about our bassist Ricky, because he's known him the longest.
Well, I met Ricky when I was probably 11 years old. 12 years old, because I just got to high school. And we both had a real love for skateboarding, and we skateboarded up until our 20s. I had a serious knee. I broke my knee in 3 places, so
Shit.
yeah, I can't do that too much now.
No.
And plus, I'm getting older. Like, I've last 30 minutes now. I need a beer and a lie down. But me and Ricky did it for years. When Ricky was in, I think he was probably about 15. Like, he had a band going from a bunch of school guys, and he was like decided he was going to learn to play bass. So, and then I kind of just started hanging around those guys, getting into a lot of punk music, Sex Pistols, Ramones, Rancid, all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, me and Ricky jammed together, and like, I think Ricky was actually the one that taught me my first riff. And
Really?
No, my next door neighbour taught me my first riff. Ricky taught me my second, and it was I'm pretty sure it was like the riff to Holiday in Cambodia by the T. Kennedys. But me and Ricky have been friends for a very long time, very close to him. But we actually, even when we moved to Perth, we've only ever lived like a couple of streets apart, and it was just like that in Kalgoorlie. Like, I wish his house wasn't on the way to school, because I didn't go to school very much, and like my maths, my writing, and like I can barely spell my own name.
Hey, well, I've just got to ask quickly, seeing as you've known Ricky for so long, how long has that lad been growing those dreadlocks?
Well, I actually met Ricky when he had short hair and a face full of piercings. Ricky actually gave me my first piercing with a safety pin that he pulled out of his jeans in my nipple at a skate park when I was 13 years old. Cheers, Ricky.
Yes, Ricky, thank you.
But I remember he left Kalgoorlie and moved to Perth, and he just had long hair at that time, long black hair, and then I went up for his I came to Perth for his 21st birthday, and he had dreads, and I think he's had them ever since then. But they've moulded in. Like, he used to have a lot of dreads, and now they're actually moulded. He's only got about 8 dreads in his actual head, but they've got spawns.
Really?
There's about 20 dreads coming off one dread.
Yeah.
Bob Marley style.
He broke one the other day, and he tied it back in a knot and then put a bead over it to hide it. Your secret's out, Ricky.
It certainly is. Okay, so who's next? That's Ricky on bass?
Our keyboard player, Benny Bones.
Yeah, you
And
talk about Benny
It's a
Bones.
funny story, because Benny Bones actually was in Matty Trash and the Horribles for a short stint. Benny's he's probably the most musical out of all of us. He's actually, he studies at WAPA.
Yeah.
WAPA Music West Australian Association of Performing Arts.
Wow.
And he's actually originally a bass player, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's actually a bass player, but he's very good on the pianos and keys, and really gets into samples. He, in a way, when it comes to the writing stuff, he can sort of orchestrate a little bit on what we're doing when we have no self-control playing guitars.
He's like MacGyver. Like, he's good at everything, and he has all the equipment. He can fix anything.
At the gig on the Friday night when we're getting ready, he was at the merch desk with a screwdriver putting together Ricky's Line 6 wireless.
Yeah.
Had the whole the board open. He's sitting there putting the wires back together, getting the wireless fixed and all that.
A bass player, keyboard, musical engineer. Like,
Wow, very smart and very talented.
I rocked up to his house. I had a new pickup to put my guitar, and I may have been slightly intoxicated. So like, I was like, Benny, I need you to run me through this.
Yeah, he's good like that. But yeah, it's the same. Like, so Benny, just to clarify, Benny and Ricky were already in ATF. Like, once the previous lineup had sort of fallen apart, and because I'd known Benny, like, you know, same sort of thing, playing in bands as Phoenix. You know, he was in Matty Trash, he was in Invoid back in the day as well, and ATF played gigs with him.
Invoid, yeah.
So he's been around. He used to work at the Castle and bar. So I got him in. I bumped into him at a party. I was like, "Hey, we're looking to do this," and he was like, "Yeah, cool. I'll come in and do keys." And I was like, "Sweet." And then Ricky was in To Hell With Honor previously, and so I've known him through that. And then when they fell apart, he came across all this Filth, and it was great. And then he got Mark involved. And it's the same thing. I bumped into Phoenix at a party at a party gig.
Yeah, the gig that
incursion gig. And I got, so I said, Phoenix, you want to come and try out on guitars and stuff, and the rest is history. And then the final member of our ensemble is our drummer Gordo, who also drums for the band Kimura. And it's another story of like all this Filth and Kimura have been playing gigs together for years and stuff, and so we've known each other for years. He's a good guy, and when we needed a new drummer, he basically volunteered his services, and has joined as our new full-time drummer and stuff. And good guy, like funny dude. I got some funny stories from Bunbury, but I won't tell them. A bit embarrassing. Gordo, you know what I'm talking about with your belt, buddy.
His other name is actually Big Sexy.
Big Sexy?
Yeah, or Gordo McRapeface, because when he's playing drums, look at his face, just, you'll know what I mean. But he gave himself that name. I'm not saying anything he doesn't know, so.
I love it. So we got Benny Bones on keyboards,
Yep.
Gordo on drums, and on bass,
Ricky.
So a big shout out to you boys, and of course Mark and Phoenix, the two guitarists, and Brendan Preston, the vocals and the craziness behind all this filth. Before we go into another song, I'm going to get you guys to talk a little bit about. You might be best to start on this question, Brendan. All this filth, the ATF crew. I hear a fair bit about these guys. Your fans, the guys that follow all this filth around. Do you want to tell us a bit about them?
Okay, so I've always said, and this is no disrespect to any other band in Perth, because there's a really good sort of core following for a lot of Perth bands, but I've always said that our fans, we affectionately call the ATF crew, are the best fans in Perth and in WA in general, and I stand by that, because they're diehards. They rock up at every show they can. They're there. They know the words. And it's like, we're not one of those bands that's like, we're up here and we're the band and you're down there, you're the fans. Like, they come to the show, they hear the band, they get into it, and I'm always like, come talk to us at the merch stand afterwards, come get involved. And they come up and basically they just become part of the crew. So you rock up and you feel like you got your little gang there. Like, so that's the ATF crew. And they're the best fans in Perth, and we want to thank you all for representing and sticking with ATF for so long and showing up and supporting us, because you guys are the best, and that's just a fact.
And hopefully a lot of you guys, the ATF crew, are tuned in right now and enjoying this interview. So we're going to play another track now off our program To Suffer. This track's called Two-Face. Did you want to tell us a little about this track?
So we don't even play this song anymore live. We might bring it back at some point. It is sort of a popular song, but we got a pretty stacked set list at the moment. They're like our kids, man. You can't choose between them. My lyrics
sorry for making you guys cut your set short a little the other day from 50 minutes to half an hour. It was a phenomenal set, so maybe next time.
No, we're actually banking on keeping it short and sweet sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to just get in there and hit it and quit it, you know what I mean? Just bang in it and just bang, 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 we're done.
Good stuff.
If you want to come see the rest of the songs, come see us at a longer set. But so to get back to
Two-Faced.
Yep. So Two-Faced is I won't go too much into the meaning. There is something specifically I was writing about at the time, but generally, like, everybody knows those sort of people that they're basically just two-faced. They talk shit behind your back and they're not honest to your face, hence two-faced. So everyone knows those sort of people, and that's what this song's about. And those sort of people, I always say, if you can say something behind someone's back, you got to say it to their face. And I always make an effort to say anything I've said behind someone's back to their face. But there's a lot of people out there who can't, and I don't like those sort of people. So fuck you.
Fair enough. You guys know who you are. This is Two-Faced off the program To Suffer. All This Filth EP. There'll be more with the boys straight after this. Yes, you're listening to Metal Ed on Global Metal Machine 116, Harvey Community Radio 96.5 FM. It's Your Town Talking. I am here with Mark, Phoenix and Brendan from All This Filth. You having a good time so far, boys?
Hells yeah.
Yeah, it's been great.
Loving it.
Mark looks seedy as a motherfucker.
Oh man,
We're all
I've
pretty
had a
sick.
rough weekend.
Yeah,
haven't
we
I?
have.
Rough weekend in good old the Southwest,
Southwest. We've been partying in the Southwest. Shout out to everyone in the Southwest who we've encountered the last few days.
It's funny, the drive down here was so energetic and it all happens up. The drive back is so quiet.
Everyone's asleep. I'm driving. I got the van and I'm driving, and everyone in the back is like asleep. And like I've got my mate Tristan navigating. Shout out to Tristan and Canadian Ryan.
Yeah, you boys are awesome.
If you want to see someone seedy, go check out Canadian Ryan. That guy. Oh,
But somehow his hair still looks top.
you know what?
Yeah.
I'll give that to him. I just I'm going to embarrass him a bit here. Just like if you do bump into Canadian Ryan, ask him about him being in his underwear at the Lord Forest Hotel 5:15 a.m. on Friday night / Saturday morning. Wanting to go swimming in the pool.
Sounds like a great story.
It is a great story, but I won't say much more than that. It's use your imagination.
And I want to give a shout out to Tristan as well for delivering some beers to the hotel room when I was running low on time.
Yeah, Tristan's been helping out, like, you know, carrying merch and stuff, and Ricky as well. Ricky was great help on the night with the merch and stuff like that. So shout out, we all chip in. So
Good stuff. Well, we're going to continue now. I've got a few more questions for you boys. We're going to talk a little bit about the All This Filth history, Brendan. How long have you boys been going, and what was the inspiration behind starting the band way back when
back
you did? Yeah.
in the beginning. So we started, like, I was in a band previously called Dissonant, and that was from like 2006 to about 2007. We only played like one gig because we're punk rock as fuck like that. We weren't a punk band. It was sort of like, the way I compare it is like All This Filth to Dissonant is like Devil Driver to Coal Chamber, if you get me.
Okay.
So it's like a progression like that. We were a bit more simplistic in Dissonant, different lineup. When All This Filth started, it was myself, my bassist from Dissonant, who's Jared Thornton, who actually plays bass now for Nails of Imposition. So, hey, Jared.
Cool.
Yeah, good mates, still good mates. And we had a guitarist, Ryan Sumich, and our drummer was Mike Sukos at the time, and we got together and... yeah, that was the first lineup of All This Filth, and that was many moons ago. So I'd say the band started in about 2008 as our first gig in October of 2008. And the like I said, the original vision I had was to add that sort of groove metal, thrashy groove metal, modern thrashy groove metal, the like industrial tinge, so like Sepultura, Fear Factory, Chimera, and like give it that dark vibe. And that's where I wanted to go. And as we've gone on, our influences, like we've taken in other influences, but those are the main three sort of things that we try to stick to. And over the years, we've had heaps of different incarnations, and this one seems to be a pretty good incarnation, and we hope to get some new music to you all real soon. We're playing new live tracks like Drowning and I Still Hate, but hope to record some stuff real soon for you all. And that'd
Fantastic.
be cool.
Yeah, I really look forward to hearing some of the new stuff as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting. Like I said, everyone comes from a different background of music, so it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's still ATF, don't get me wrong, it's still ATF, but there's some different stuff. Still aggressive, still groovy. Just, I mean, we write what we feel at the time, and that's how we roll, so...
Good stuff. Well, Mark, did you want to tell us where, we'll start with you, where can all the listeners and the fans and, the ATF crew probably already know where to go, but where can we go to get your merchandise? Shirts, CDs, stickers, all that sort of good stuff.
Well, Brendan's probably the best one to talk to about it because I drink a lot, so...
At the moment, the merchandise is at gigs and stuff. I believe the album, the CDs and EPs are available on...
Oh, okay, so basically online, you can Google us, but we're available, like, you can get the EP, either a physical or a downloadable copy off, like, we got a CD Baby store, you can get it off our Facebook Music store, you can get it on iTunes, Spotify, whatever. You can basically Google All This Filth, and if you can't find it, you got bigger problems.
You can probably get it on Kick-Ass Torrents as well, and
Probably, that's not, well, as long as you're hearing the music, as long as you get it out there. But the merch at the moment, we just got a new batch of shirts as well. Like we debuted like last week, we had a gig, and then on Friday night as well, new shirts. But at the moment they're just available at the gigs. We're looking at setting up maybe an online store, but watch your space. Just go to our Facebook, hit us up, and more importantly, come to the shows, come interact and get involved in your local scene, because there's a good thriving local scene. So
if you ask nicely, we might come and personally deliver you a t-shirt.
yeah.
We'll start our own delivery service.
Yeah, if you actually, in all seriousness, if you Facebook message us or email us, I will send you a shirt, like, or whatever. If you want one, we'll do a PayPal transfer or whatever, and I'll either drive to your house and put it in your mailbox and then just hang around your house like a creep.
And if you pay any more, we'll just send you Mark.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not available, I'll get a carrier pigeon. So
Oh, really?
Just smoke signal it, and we'll get there.
it's actually just like Ricky. I just dress him up like a bird.
Not like the bat signal, we got the ATF signals. Just signal us and we'll be there.
Get hold of the ATF boys, and they'll be either hand delivering the merch to your door or getting it dropped in your yard by
Carrier pigeon.
A carrier pigeon.
Yep.
Fantastic. I love it. Okay, I know you guys. How many gigs have you guys played as the new lineup?
3.
3?
Our comeback was the Filthy Christmas show December of last year, which was fantastic. It was great that everyone came out to see the new ATF lineup. Then we played Homecoming Scream, not Friday just gone, the Friday before at the Civic Hotel, which is good. It was good fun as well. And then Global Metal Machine Stop the Domestic Violence mini fest, which was great. It was a good lineup. It was a good night.
So did you have fun Friday night?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had fun. We had fun. Yes.
There was heaps of energy, like when we played Civic, because we played the Boston, which was a very sort of, well, not low key, but being the first gig as a lineup, was sort of getting into the groove.
And plus, we couldn't really move a lot on stage. There's a small stage there. We were finding our feet, but it was good. It was good anyways. There was lots of energy, like, in that show, from the crowd and from us, and yeah, the Civic show was cool as well. They're all cool in different ways.
Yeah, because it's unbelievable that it's only your 3rd gig on Friday night. Like I said, that's the first time I've been blessed to see you boys. I've been meaning to for a while, but most of your gigs are on Friday nights when I'm doing the Global Metal Machine show. So, and you'd think that you boys had been together for a long time, seasoned veterans playing in a seasoned band.
It's really interesting because it's a 3rd gig with this lineup, but it's like, for me in ATF, it's like my 57th gig. I keep track of these things because I'm weird like that.
Yeah, like, I mean, I've played countless of gigs with previous bands. I think there's a bunch of seasonal stuff going on with the lineup. Like, every member has had that stage and all that sort of stuff, and then it just comes together with the new ATF lineup.
Yeah, it's sort of like, I think to me it's weird not to get all like hippie on you, but ATF has its own aura, like it's its own thing. It just sort of, we embody it and it embodies us, and and it just comes together because, like Phoenix said, we've all been around for a while. Not that we're old or anything like that. But we played a lot of shows in various different bands, so we come together and we use all that experience to bring you the new ATF experience. So
fantastic. Well, we're going to play the title track off Programmed to Suffer now. Who wrote this song, and do you want to tell us a bit about it?
Okay, so this song was written by not the previous lineup, but the lineup before that, with it was myself and the guitarist Ryan Sumich. And it was actually nominated for Wham! Song of the Year back in 2013, 2015, one of the years, I don't know.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, Wham! Song. We lost to Chaos Divine anyways, which is a good song.
Yeah, shout out to Dave.
Yeah, so we lost to Chaos Divine, but it was good to go to the awards ceremony, it was cool. But yeah, Ryan and I wrote that song. It was really cool. It's a follow-up track to a song from our first album called Everyday Slavery. There's a line in it that says Programmed to Suffer, and I was like, I want to write a follow-up track to that because I'm weird like that. And it's sort of like a sequel to that song, Everyday Slavery being about, being a wage slave and just having to do certain things to get by in life. And Programmed to Suffer is more about, like, just being conditioned by the media, by the world, basically, to act a certain way, to be a certain way, to do certain things. You know, nobody questions anything. Everyone's like, you know, this is the way you have to do. You're conditioned from a very young age to go to school, get this, do this, do this. If you don't do this, you know, you're going to end up bad. You know what I mean? Like,
it's amazing that you say that, because from a young age, I really think it's important to be outside the box of society, because society and our governments do want robots, because robots are so much easier to control.
Exactly,
and Programmed to Suffer is all about this, isn't it?
That's what that song is about. Like, you know, you don't necessarily have to go against everything, but always remain vigilant and question everything. Don't just take everything, like someone tells you this, fact A, and everyone just believes it, and it's like, really? Why don't you think for yourself? Question it, at least question it, you know, and try not to be a robot, you know. Don't be programmed to suffer.
I love it. Well,
and it is a wicked song to play live.
Yeah,
it feels good.
It's a banger. This song goes off. This one went off the other night at the gig.
It did. It was fantastic.
It's good fun.
It's good to move around to that song. Like, I actually have a really good time playing it. It was actually when I joined the band, it was the first song I actually learned, like, for the band.
He was frothing about it.
Yeah, that was a weird time. Ricky's like, oh, I'm in the band, they need a guitarist. I was like, I'll join. I just rang this random dude named Brendan and say, hey man, I'm a guitarist, let me in.
That is actually exactly how it happened. He called me up when I was at my previous guitarist/bassist house, Brad, and I get this phone call from this random number, and he's like, my name's Mark, and I know Ricky, and I would like to join your band as a guitarist. I'm like, that's very interesting.
It's a weird time. I hadn't seen Ricky in about 6 months. Like, I had a difficult time a bit ago, and then I got out of that difficult time, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to join a band again.
Fantastic, Mark. And now you're sitting here in a global Metal Machine spaceship, buddy.
Man, these walls are so nice.
They are. They're really nice.
I just want to rub them all the time.
I feel like when in that movie, I was like, Get Him to the Greek. It's like,
the very wall.
Man.
This is what the music industry's all about.
I was stroking the grass like at 3 o'clock in the morning, like yesterday, like incapable. Like, man, it's so
Stroking
nice.
or smoking?
I was stroking. We don't condone drug use.
No, we don't.
It's free.
Okay, so this is Programmed to Suffer by All This Filth. We'll have a little bit more with the boys straight after this. Enjoy. Global Metal Machine 116, Harvey Community Radio 96.5 FM. It's your town talking. Programmed to Suffer. ATF. Yes, that was the title track of Programmed to Suffer. We've been playing some tunes off their EP. We kicked it off with a sample, Theory of a Madman, then we went into Helter Skelter, Two-Faced, and that was Programmed to Suffer. So we're going to talk a little bit more with the boys now before we wind up this interview. So guys, have you got any gigs in the woodworks over the next upcoming months? What's happening here?
Oh, possibly. There's a gig that you happen to have a hand in, April
Kelvin.
28th. Oh, Kelvin, sneaky Kelvin.
April the 28th,
April
that is
28th,
the one.
and it's
Be
in,
there.
it's in Rockingham, yes?
Your gig?
It's in Rockingham, yeah?
Yeah, Enigma Bar in
Enigma Bar.
Rockingham.
So, we're penciled in for that show with, I think it's, can we say the lineup?
Yeah, Sheol of Abaddon,
Shoal of Abaddon,
Medusa's
who we
Goes.
both just played with, both really good bands, and Medusa's we've been playing gigs with for years. Those guys, we go way
and
back.
Gordo's other band, B.
Gordo's gonna bring Kimura with the boys, you know, so a bit of MDS crew, ATF and MDS. So yeah, it's and who else? Enigmatic as well.
Enigmatic are there, yeah.
Yes, so yeah, it's gonna be an interesting night, and we're gonna rock.
Dead Space we're going to jump on, but they've got a gig on the same night, so so I think Enigmatic have jumped in, so
Sweet.
yeah, so well, I know we've been doing it for about the last 45 minutes, but before we wind up, for anyone that may have just tuned in, do you just want to plug your band?
We're all this filth. We play groove metal tinged with a bit of industrial. We're dark, we're aggressive. Check us out, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. Just get the music in your ears.
I think when we say plug the band, I don't think there's a cork big enough.
Yeah.
We're all pretty loose.
Yeah, you can't shut us up, like, you know. We're just
I do love the dry sense of humour too, boys. Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
yeah, we're an interesting bunch of fellas, and do, like, if you come to a show, do feel free to come and talk to us. I like it when people approach us and hit us up with their thoughts, and interact with us. When, like I said, we're not rock stars here. We're not like we're better than you. We're all part of the crew, ATF crew, and if you're with us, you're with us, so get on down.
We jump up there to have some fun, and it's awesome when guys come down and have fun with us.
Yeah, exactly. And then the energy, if we send the energy out there and the crowd feeds the energy back, that's what we're all about. It's lovely. And like I was just saying to you, like, the world doesn't make sense to me unless I'm on stage screaming to a mic. It's therapy for me, and it just what you guys do for me, I'll never be able to repay that.
Look, mate, it doesn't actually make sense to us until we're actually watching you guys do what you do, and the whole metal scene. That's what heavy metal and hard rock's all about. It's about escape from the fucked up shit that's going on in reality.
It's visceral. You got to come and experience it. We can't talk about it. You're probably thinking, that guy sounds crazy, and maybe I am, but rock up and see what we're talking about, and more importantly, feel what we're talking about, and listen to what we're talking about, and just get into it, get involved.
100%, boys. Well, I'm just quickly going to get each of the guys to give you guys a bit of a shout out, and then we'll be sort of winding up the interview. So I'm going to start with you, Mark Honey. We'll get you in quickly before you throw up, by the looks of things.
I would never throw up. I'm not that kind of guy.
Not in here.
I swallow it. I'll eat it. It's probably how I got this way in the first place.
Have you enjoyed it, Mark? Have you done a radio interview before?
Sort of, but I was actually really hungover for that one. I didn't say too much. It was kind of like Brendan asked me the day before to do the last one, and I'd already started drinking. So, who stops? Who just goes, nah, no more drinking?
That's rock and roll for you.
Yeah.
No, it's come down and see us play, and I do have two big announcements to make. I'm number 4 on non-stop Chuck Norris. It's a app game, and it's number 4 in the world, so
We're going to put that on his tombstone.
yeah. Also, Phoenix was just watching porn in this little spaceship here.
I can vouch for that. He was, and he wouldn't share it with me because he thought we had to be professional, but
It's not the first time, Phoenix.
I'm just glad his pants are still on.
Yes, indeed. Lucky Canadian. Is it Canadian Dave?
Canadian Ryan.
Canadian Ryan.
Canadian Ryan.
call him Canadian
Yeah, we
Dave.
call him Canadian. Hey, Dave. What's that all about? We love our Canadian fans, by the way.
Okay, guys. Well, we're going to wind up now. I'm going to give our little spiel, and when I do you want to give? I'll give you the thumbs up. And you being the vocalist, Brendan, do you want to give us a "This Is Your Town" talking?
Yes.
Yes, that
Yes,
is
I
our
do.
little catchphrase.
So that's all I got to say. This is your town talking.
That's all you got to say. You can do it any way you want. You can sing it, you can scream it,
I'm not
say it.
gonna scream it, because if you want to hear me scream, you come to the show.
Yes, indeed.
You're gonna pay $10.
Okay, you've been listening to Global Metal Machine 116 with Metal Ed, exclusive interview with guitarists Mark Honey and Phoenix from All This Filth, along with Brendan Preston, the vocalist and mastermind. They are a fantastic band live. Their EPs are terrific. Check them out. Get hold of them on the Facebook page. They look like they bite, but they honestly don't. They're good dudes, and
Unless you ask.
it's been an honour having them here in the Global Metal Machine spaceship. So you've been listening to Metal Ed with Mark Phoenix and Brendan from ATF, Harvey Community Radio 96.5 FM.
It's your town talking.
That it is. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers for having us, Kelvin.
Cheers, guys.
No worries.